Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing great. Today from Insight we have decided to launch the CONQUER Prelims 2023 program. What is CONQUER Prelims program? It is a tailor-made program for prelims. Here what's happening in these days with the prelims is there is a change in the trend. Even if you analyze previous year question, there is a change in the trend, not in terms of the weightage with respect to each subject. It can be from the way the kind of question that is being asked. For example, last year they asked about, in terms of match the following pairs, they had asked about how many pairs has been met. So, which has made the questions very difficult in terms of elimination. So, that is one way of changing the trend. Otherwise, weightage of the subject, if you look at in last few years, the question from one subject to other subject vary from 1 year to another. You cannot plan before saying that this is the most important subject and this is the least important. You never know where the question which has been asked less in previous years, in this year they are asking more number of questions. Third is within the subject there is again change in the trend. Maybe few years back, if you look at the question of modern India, many of the questions were conceptual as well. They were asking for the reason for tribal revolt, but in these years it has been shifted completely to factual mode. So in this way there can be a change in the trends, either in terms of weightage of the subject or the kind of question that is being asked, or within a subject the kind of question that is being asked or the focus is being changed. So in this CONQUER program we discuss how the things are changing and how you are supposed to keep it. Every subject will be discussed in detail from prelims perspective. That is the second point. And most important is previous year question paper analysis. It will not only give you the kind of question that is being asked, but also it will give you the important themes where the kind of trap will be set, how you should apply your knowledge and tackle such questions. Okay. The next thing is content enough to clear the prelims, or I can put it in other words, let's say, is knowledge alone is sufficient to clear the prelims? To answer such question, usually there is always a misconception that to clear the prelims you need to study more and more, or more number of sources, which is absolutely the reason why many students who are able to clear otherwise are losing the game, because they are running behind too many content. They are running behind acquisition of knowledge rather than managing the knowledge. Another, one thing that we have observed in the market is how students are losing it. They are running behind the current affairs. They are studying 3 to 4 current affairs. Sometimes, they are forgetting the basic static subject and they are entirely relying their preparation on the current affair. They are reading the newspaper from 2-3 sources and making the notes, along with from 2 to 3 coaching institute material they are compiling. At the end, all is go in waste if you have not understood the limit. So how much current affairs is exactly required, that you will supposed to understand, and that you will understand through this program. Because if I want to put it in a very crisp manner, let's say some subject, where their current affairs is much important. For example, science and technology, right? So in science and technology, it is not just the current affairs, you should also understand trends in the current affairs, in the same that, the emerging technologies. For example, last year, if you look at the question, the NFT in blockchain technology is in news from last 4-5 years. The question is being asked in many other ways, but now they have gone one step ahead and they are asked about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, as well as Web 3.0. So going further, they may ask about DeFi, that is decentralized finance, or they can talk about metaverse. So you should understand not just the current affairs, but also the emerging technology happening, and it is mostly based on the current affairs. So for such subject you should focus more on current affairs, not just from one source, but many sources would be fine. But for some of the static subject, the question are entirely from the static, so you don't need to go too much about the current affairs. This difference you should know. This is very important from the perspective of prelims. So in the class we discuss all the relevant current affairs related to that subject. Okay, so that give you a clear idea. Then what is the approach we are supposed to take? Some people, they have the habit of going deep into the subject. Sometimes I wonder their knowledge is, it is in such a way that, one subject they have dwelled so much that, their entire preparation, they are taking too much of time to finish one subject. At the end, they are neglecting the other. So, but when it comes to UPSC, it is not the specialist knowledge, but a generalist approach. How to look a question from a generalist viewpoint. That is what it requires. I cannot emphasize more than this, but it will lead to overthinking in many of the very easy questions, especially in polity and economy. As a common person, how you look at the polity, how you look at the economy, that is the way you are supposed to look at the question, not from a economist viewpoint. Then you will start adding so many extra dimension and come to a conclusion that, and start thinking in a different direction and end up making the mistake, right? So that we will discuss. So then we also discuss about how to simplify CSAT. I cannot emphasize more than this because the CSAT has become a nightmare for many. Many people are clearing GS, but they are getting stuck with CSAT. For a simple reason, is it really it is becoming test, or is it all in your mind? Because the kind of question, if you look at the previous year question, if you have prepared passages or comprehensions very well, the one comprehension followed by 2 to 3 questions. So have very edge if you have prepared it very well. And also in terms of CSAT, people are, let's say if there are 80 questions, within 80 questions, 50 questions are easy, either from passage or from the basic mathematics, basic numeracy. If you look at the syllabus, you have to look at the syllabus, CSAT syllabus. Once you look at the CSAT, it is very clear that basic numeracy, 10th level, data interpretation is a separate bulletin point in the syllabus. So you have to give equal emphasis to number system and, data interpretation as much as you give it to, let's say, logical reasoning or comprehension. So there are 12 to 13 questions every year from these basic topics, and we are busy chasing something where you are getting only one question. For example, time and work, probability, permutation, maybe hardly 1 or 2 questions every year is appearing, and we are running behind it, forgetting the basic numeracy. That is a separate bullet point in the syllabus that you have to observe. When it is a separate bulletin point in the syllabus, you will have more number of questions, right? So you should, prepare well about these to tackle that 50 questions and forget about that, 30 question which is carrying you. You should have a plan, well planned for tackling that 50 question to get it is easy to get more than 100. Any kind of CSAT paper, provided you have planned it well. So it is very important to understand what is the exact demand of UPSC CSAT. Okay, that we will discuss, and we will simplify the CSAT, and we will let you know, and all the question that has been appeared from last 12 years will be discussed with the approach, so that you understand that what is required, that fear you have towards the CSAT, I will assure you that will not be there. Okay, so that is what CONQUER Prelims will made of, and it will make you a person with the confidence. This you will understand once you understand the previous year question paper, what is required for this clarity exam. Once you finish this course, I can surely tell you that you are confident about the exam. How CONQUER Prelims has helped to break the uncertainty in 2021-22 prelims. You people who have attended this will know this better. Okay. Now, one is it helped them to understand the exact demand of the examination, because we have not just discussed the answer for previous year question, but we also discussed what kind of question they are asking, why they are asking such questions. Okay. It is, once you understand, let's say if I understand last 10 years paper, 2011 to 15 or 14 papers are bit different compared to 2015, and from 2015 the trends has been changing every year. Okay, but why there is a 2 division? Because there is a change in the regime. When there is a change in the regime, of course, when the government comes, it have its own vision of developing a country. So when government priorities changes, the same priorities will reflect in your examination paper. But if you look at the previous year question papers, many questions are asking on agriculture part. What kind of agriculture? Not the traditional agriculture. Those agriculture which are water efficient, those, organic farming, wherever there is a, if you look at the question of fertigation, if you look at the question of, drip irrigation, all these questions are climate smart agriculture. So those agriculture technologies which can cope up with the future climate changes. So, and government is, one of the government main priorities, doubling the farmers' incomes. Government has been focusing more on digital payments. So if you look at the question, there is a question on UPI, there is a question on BMAP. Why is this happening? Whatever the government priority, that will reflect in your paper. Even same with the emerging resources, emerging technologies, this government is more focused towards digital governance, right? So when there is a digital governance, more from questions from artificial intelligence, more questions from blockchain technology. So it is clearly evident what is the priority of the government will also be the priority within the paper. So you should understand, and in terms of economy, what is their focus? Their focus is more into opening the economy, So even if you look at the question more about FIIs, FDIs, so you should understand what is the trend. The trend changes with the idea of the government. How government changes its priority, similarly the trend also will align itself with the government's priority. So once you understand how to look at, so because of this we start creating the themes. There are certain themes where more number of questions will appear. So that is how you get an edge in those themes. This will help you to understand that, and it helped the 2021 CONQUER student who it has helped them immensely. Along with that, the another part, that is elimination by applying the right thought process. If there is a question where you are not only just, you have not studied it well, but let's say your basics are good, you can still apply your common sense and basic knowledge part and eliminate the option. For example, let's say in 2021, let's say there is a question on parole, right? So one of the statement on parole is every state can have its own prison rules. Now, if someone is good in polity, knows that law and order, prison will come under state subject. When it comes under state subject, state will have the exclusive jurisdiction to, not exclusive, but it has the major jurisdiction, right? So it has a jurisdiction to have any law on those items, right? So if you know that prison is under state subject, state can make any law. So every state can have a different law. So that is just an extension of that basic common sense. So when you understand that, that option will automatically become correct. So it is not that I know about parole, I have studied about parole, but the statement says that every state can have a different rule on prisons, and prison come under state subject. Then that means that every state can have different rule, because every state can have their own legislation on that subject on state subject, right? Yes. So in that way, once you understand the basic, how to apply your common sense, that will help you to eliminate the option. Not like, there are certain option where, this kind of trap is there, that should be wrong. If ministry is given, that logic will never work, because, it is always in the hand of examiner. Tomorrow, if you understand that, okay, people are doing this trick and he come up in giving the right ministries, then you are getting trapped. So never, rely on such techniques where it is more of a previous year may. What will usually happen is we always tend to do the post-mortem analysis, right? So what we do is we take the previous year question paper and we say a trend. Whenever this kind of statement is, it is wrong. Whenever this kind of statement is, it is wrong. So UPSC also keep looking at, they want to reform their examination process. They want to keep, on par with the students, right? They cannot keep quiet. So they will be keep observing. So if someone has decoded it, it means that UPSC will become alert, and they change their trend. And they set up that kind of trap that, next year who are not even understanding the subject, applying their brain, only just because someone, some technique was there, I am applying that technique, they will miserably fail. UPSC will ensure it. There were some certain issues, okay, with the last year CONQUER program. What was those issues? How, before that, I just want to explain how actually the CONQUER program we at Insight came up with. At that point of time in 2021, if I remember, at that point of time, the second COVID wave was there, and there was a lockdown everywhere. And many of the students, they wanted to meet the lectures, and we are used to have many strategy session for offline guiding students. So OGP students, we were having many strategy sessions in general previously. That year, due to COVID lockdown, we were unable to have the strategy session. So our beloved Vinay sir, founder and director of Insights. So many were approaching him that we want to talk to mentors, we want to discuss about the prelims, but at the same time there were government restrictions. He had no choice. So he decided to come up with a program, okay, saying that you have the CONQUER Prelims kind of program where every subject will be discussed in detail, what is required, what is not required, in detail about teaching. We also discussed the whole subject. We took 20-25 hours for every subject and we finished it off. Okay, so that at least, and we discussed all 12 years or 11 years paper at that point of time, from 2011 to 2020 paper. We discussed in detail of all the subjects, so that students get a clarity. So what he did is, rather than meeting us and tagging the same thing, let's have a program through which we actually deliver the content. Okay, so that is the idea how it has been evolved. Since it has evolved within 2.5 months due to an out of a need, it has been arrived. So we had to do lot of things within that 2 months. So we had to plan it because we are doing it for the first time. Since, let's say, if I wanted to finish it of polity in 12 hours, but it took 20 hours. Let's say agriculture, we wanted to finish it in 2 classes, that is 8 hours, it took fit to 16 hours, because that is has become the priority of UPSC. We cannot, compromise in our teaching. So what had happened was, some of the subject, maybe ancient India, medieval India, we could not teach them properly. We gave them the material which is required, that was enough. Okay, but somehow whatever that we have promised, we could not do it, for the reason that time was running out, because we started the program just 2 months early. Okay, when 2 months, that is from August 15th we started, October 10th was prelims. So hardly there were 55 days for the examination. So we took 8 hours class per day. Okay, so and finished it out by September 5th. So if you calculate it 20 days into 8 hours, that is around 150 hours we have taken the classes. But then there was only 1 month for the students. Okay, and so if you wanted to finish ancient India, medieval India in detail, you would have been gone another 10 days. So we don't wanted to happen, because the weightage of those subjects are very less, and this is not the time we should stick up to that plan. So what we decided at that point of time is, we have decided, we spoke to the students, and they also came up with the idea of giving the handout rather than classes as such, and we gave them the handouts. Okay, so because of this, and also when we taught them how to what is the thought process that you are supposed to have, how to revise the synopsis of the test series, because they would have done around 100 test series, 50 test series. Let's say if every test series have a 100 page of synopsis, or if you have done 50 tests, then there is a 5,000 page. How to revise it along with your static subject, along with your current affairs? So how to manage it? Okay, all these things we have been it has been taught to them, but at the end there was only 1 month to implement all these things. Many those has been the demand that has been told by the student, was saying that if the program would have been started, let's say 1 month early or 2 months early, it would have been much more beneficial to many of them who have missed the chances at the borderline. So this year, so we decided to have it at early. Okay, so that is the reason. So now coming back, we are starting the program from 2nd week of the December. Why are we starting early? One is, as I told you, in 2021 we could not cover many of the subject, 2-3 subject. Okay, in detail. We had discussed about it, we had discussed the questions about it, but we could not complete the subject, we could not teach the subject. Other subject, polity, economy, environment, agriculture, everything, with science and technology, we have discussed in detail, but this history part was missing, and the physical geography part was also missing to a bit. So this year we wanted to finish, we want to finish all the subjects in detail. That is why we were starting early, so more detailed. And last year, as I told you, since there was only 55 days, we took 8 hours of class. So that was a very tiring for many of the students, right? So after that, after the class, they have to go and revise the things. Though the classes were becoming their revision class itself, again they have to start and implement the thing. So 8 hours listening to the class and going home and studying would have been a very difficult path. Okay, so for that reason, what we thought this year is, let's start it early and have 4 hours of class, right? So when you have 4 hours of class, go and implement those things, go and study those things, and some of you are, still doing your mains part, some of you are maybe having the classes with, CSAT, I mean optional classes. So when you are going through various classes, having, and keeping it at the end will not, have the, what do you say, you cannot, again it will end up having the becoming a CONQUER 2021 in terms of time management. So we wanted to have it early so that we can finish it by January end, so that you still have more 4 months, complete 4 months to implement those changes that requires in you. You want to incorporate or inculcate the approach that we teach. There is a need of unlearning what you have learned till now, and then you have to relearn the process. What is the actual process that you are supposed to go through? Okay, that needs, and since there is early completion of syllabus, you will have more time for revision, and then handling the current affairs, okay, in the right way. That means that again, if you finish early, then current affairs classes we will have at, in the month of April. So because we cannot finish the current affairs now and giving in between, so what we are planning is we finish all the subject, and relevant current affairs that has happened till now will be taught along with the subject, but whatever that has been done, that will be given to you in terms of maybe in the month of April. Okay, that is the plan. End of April we will have all the current affairs ready. Okay, then mentorship sessions. So another problem that we have seen is, though the students came to us through mentorship, since they had only 1 month, many of the changes they were understanding, but again, as I told you, they had very less time to interact with us. This program is not a program where we teach for 2 months and then we don't have any relationship between us. It is like, after those 2 months, we will always be in touch with you, you will always be in touch with us. You send your question papers, whatever the papers that you have attended, what are the various issues that you are facing, we discuss in detail, and how you can mold the things and make it better. Then, so more mentorship, that will help you to mold your preparation. So this is the reason we are starting it early again. Along with that, the CSAT. The CSAT classes this year we are having it in detail. Last year, one thing I have observed is, I could have, only 3 to 4 sessions about how the papers are coming, what should be your approach. But by saying that, many of, those students, even from, who are not that good at aptitude, are not that good at English, so they are facing the problem. So it is better that we in a detailed manner what is exact requirement of CSAT in terms of UPSC. So we discuss all 10 years ka paper along with the subject knowledge this time. Okay, once we understand, then you will come to know what is the actual important topics, actually where exactly how you are supposed to prepare. And since we are solving all like last 12 years ka paper, you would be knowing what is, kind of question that you are appearing, how you should address the unconventional kind of question, how you have to manage the time, that you get a better idea. Because of that, we are also having a separate CSAT program this year. Okay, and those who are facing the problem, it will help them beneficial, it will benefit them. Then confidence to essay exam, as I told you, if you have finished it early, whatever the changes that you made for the next 4 months, it will help you to have the confidence. Once you have that confidence in the examination hall, that psychological edge, because if I want to tell, about myself, I have cleared all of my attempts, prelims, from first attempt to 8 attempts, all with more than IFYS cutoff. Okay, and if I want to tell that, when I started my preparation, there was an optional subject for prelims itself, right? Then there was an introduction of CSAT. Within CSAT, again, the English has been removed. Then they made it qualifying, irrespective of the changes that has been numerous changes done by the UPSC. I have always cleared with a higher cutoff. How? Is it, The first 2 attempts, I have studied well for the prelims, and I took more time. But then when I understood what is the exact demand of this exam, then in all next prelims I used to take only 1.5 months. You can see many of the students, those people who give interview or in the service, they will be busy with their mains. After prelims, mains, they will be busy with their interview. Still after the prelims result, mains result, everything they will come up in the last 1 month, and then they will sit and again clear every year. Though the trends are changing, though the paper is becoming unconventional, how some of the students are, some of the aspirants are clearing every time. How I was clearing every time, if I put it this question to myself. This is because once you understand what is the demand of this exam, then it is not just the content, how to apply the knowledge, where the trap will be set. Once you understand the mindset of the examiner, then it will help you immensely, to clear this exam. So that will give you a confidence. In the examination, irrespective of the kind of paper that has been, I have been appeared, it has been very direct question from 2016 to, a very different kind of question in 2020. It was, every year it was different. So it has never affected my marks because, the mindset, irrespective of the kind of paper that I had, that psychology, that confidence I had, is because I have understood the exam well. So the confidence that if you have for 4 months, then after finishing the program, doing all these things, incorporating all these things, the next 4 months will give you a lot of confidence. And as I told you, preparation of CSAT, you cannot do it in 3 days, 4 days. It needs time for those who are having the problem with that. Details of CONQUER Prelims 2023. When it is starting, it is 2nd week of December, maybe from 12th December, okay, we will start. And what is the duration? As I told you, it will be for 2 months. Every day it will be 4 hours of GS class, and whoever required, there will be around 2 hours of CSAT classes in between. Who should join this or who should not join it? There can be 2 kind of questions. Last time we categorically have told, because we are having only 2 months, we have categorically told that freshers should not join this program at all. We have initially told them not to join, or those who have been, not writing this year are also, that we have categorically told, or those who are clearing every time need not to join, obviously, right? So that was the condition last time, but this time, since we are doing it in detail, even the freshers are welcome, they can join. One thing. Second, all others, working professionals can join, because this is not just the live class, you will also get the recorded videos on your portal. So those who are working can always listen to recorded videos in their free time. Along with that, so many students may be, having a different classes or TET series till December, so they can also use it after the December. Anyways, you can listen to it through the recorded classes. In that way you can manage your time. And those who are clearing every time, okay, comfortably, or if you have understood the demand, if you have analyzed the previous year paper, and if you are very confident about the kind of question that are appearing, how you are handling, then there is no need to join, okay. But provided you have to be very confident, or you are clearing it regularly, okay. However, by saying that, though you are clearing, or you are confident, but if you are don't want to join, still you are always can come to us for any help that you need, okay. Though you need not be a part of the program all the time to get the help, but as much from our hand, whatever that we can do, we will do our best to help those also who have not joined us. Okay, see you then. Thank you.